What's up, guys? So, day 2 update. We are in Archeage, like always. Archeage is here. Surprisingly, the launch went really well yesterday. That was the best launch that XL Games, Gamigo, Trine Worlds has ever done for Archeage. Yes, I know it's pretty shitty for some people because there are some bugs, there are some issues, but if you got in game, there was very few disconnects. There was no massive server maintenance. The queues only took about an hour in the beginning when the servers launched. So overall, congratulations to them. They did a great job of actually launching the servers. I know some people had mixed feelings on this because there were some issues. Some people don't have patron, and some people still don't have labor regeneration. So let's talk about what happened. They fucked up hard because they didn't want to grant everyone patron right away at character creation. They wanted patron to start the moment that you logged into the game. But with character creation, once you make a character and you have patron, you get offline labor regeneration. So then that means as soon as you name reservation your character, you're going to have labor starting to tick. They didn't want that to happen because last time in 4.0 or 4.5 fresh start, whatever the last fresh start was, they had that happen. They had character reservation, name reservation up, or something where you could buy patron early. I don't even believe you could, it was character reservation. I believe it was you could just strictly buy patron off the website and have it active before the servers launched. So you didn't even have a character, I believe, at that point. And then what happened is when the game launched, those people had 5,000 labor and everybody else had 0 labor points. So there was a lot of angry people at that time. That issue got swept under the rug, though. It didn't blow up into this huge big thing, but it was definitely pay to win heavily at that point. Like, severe. There's no way around it. Like, someone having 5,000 labor and someone having 0 labor is huge in the very beginning of a server. So this is why they made it where you get your patron status by claiming your token from your pre-order pack on the Glyph website. So let's pull up the Glyph website for you. Here's the Glyph website. So you sign in. Part of the timer. So you sign in and you go in here and you'll see a package that is $0 or 0 credits, and it'll say claim. Click on it. So you click on it like that, and it'll ask you which character you want to apply to. It can only be applied to one character, and it's one-time use only. Once you send that to any character whatsoever, it will now start your patron status. You will have patron. You will not need to be logged into the game to actually start your labor regeneration. So once I figured this out during the EU servers, because EU servers launched before, they launched at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I decided to play EU servers because of less queues and because I don't really PvP much, so it's more of an economy-based game, and the economy has always been a lot slower and easier to just make bajillions of gold in the EU. So, as 3 o'clock rolled around, I didn't get in until 4:15 or so on my accounts, and there was no labor. And then people started saying you had to claim your pack. You had to claim your pack. They said that around like 3:45 or so. So people started at 3. They had a head start, right? They had 45 minutes, an hour head start, but they had no labor, so they were severely gated. Around that time, they started saying you had to claim your pack. Most people didn't. So I'd say maybe 5% of the population understood what that was and went to claim their pack and got their labor. So as soon as they said that, I started claiming my packs. I claimed my packs on my first account. My first account got logged into the server. I noticed the labor regeneration. I didn't want to send it to a North American character because if it sent to the North American character and it didn't work, then I was really screwed and I'd have no labor on my second account. But I decided to gamble it and like, okay, I have one account here. This is going to be my main EU account. If the labor regeneration works, let's gamble and let's test it out and see. So the second account was still in the queue. I sent the second account's patron status glyph item thing to my North America character because I was like, okay, I want to have him main North America at least, or have it on North America. It does me no good to have it on the same region for different accounts. When that happened, I was able to log in finally to that account about 15-20 minutes later. that account already had 30 or 40 labor because it started the offline labor regeneration as soon as I sent the mail. I did not even need to claim the mailbox, but just by sending that triggered the hidden patron status. So that made me a patron, which means I got offline labor regeneration. That's when it clicked on me on what the hell they did and why they did this. Because they haven't specifically come out and said why they've done this, but you just got to put 2 and 2 together, and then you get 4. You get the answer on this. Because I've been through every fresh start server. I know what they're trying to improve on, and I know the pain points. So with that being said, I quickly went onto the Glyph account and logged onto my third account, sent that one off to my American account as well, because I wanted to start labor regeneration, and the third account was still in the queue in Europe. When that happened, I was an hour and 15 minutes or so behind on my first account, and I'm like, oh fuck. Lilies are going to be taken. I can't get any lilies. This is bad. Of course, as I go through, there was no lilies at all in the first starting area, the second starting area. I was really like, damn. So I decided to go all the way into the level 40 areas because I know there's lilies there. This is where knowing the environment and knowing wild crop spawns are very, very important, because there was a whole bunch of lilies there. And on the way, there was also trees. I didn't have a ton of labor, so I couldn't chop all the trees that I found, but I chopped some trees, I gathered some lilies, and as I ran out of labor, I just sat there waiting for my other accounts to log in. My other accounts got logged in finally, and once the first account was out of labor, I started playing the second account, switching back and forth, gathering the lilies on my first account. Second account, started just rushing the storyline quest because there's no need for its labor. Yeah, there's nothing else really to gather. There's trees, but I'd have to run or teleport. And at the beginning of the game, teleport scrolls, hereafter stones, are very expensive. 75 silver. So this is a huge tip, guys. Use other people's portals. Jump through other people's portals. Get recall locations in your teleport book. Whenever you see a portal, pretty much jump in it. Make sure that you have a recall set to your homeland country, because if you don't have a recall set and you get sent over to the other continent, you're going to actually spend 3 hereafter stones to teleport back. That's very, very expensive. Or wait for someone else to throw up a portal and jump through it. But portal jumping is a great way to fill up your teleport book. It's free. It's easy. You can explore the world that way. Yeah, teleport portal jumping will save you 75 silver. And especially if you have your recall set to a good location where you're, constantly going back and forth. Great thing to do. Teleport jumping is awesome. Do it. Love it, guys. So I started following people around doing the quest and leveling that character up. That character got to 30. It took about 2 hours. We got past the dragon scale because we were on the Harani side, which was horrible. There was the queue, but we just fucked it. Went to the cut to the front of the line. And even with my North American ping, I was able to beat out some people with the dragon scale line, which, yeah, I did that 2 times or 3 times. That definitely had to piss people off. But surprisingly, no one actually said anything in that queue, in that waiting line. Yeah. So then we just started to notice the markets change. So lilies started off around 75 silver, went down to about 50 silver, and they were selling like hotcakes, man. Lilies were insane. Lilies were great. So we hit the nail on the head on that one. Lilies were great. Lilies were awesome. Trees, on the other hand, logs, not so good. Logs were only about 20 silver, and no one was buying them, which it makes sense because right now you can't really build things. The only thing you can build is the clipper, but we're just a little bit too early on the log phase. Logs are not needed right now. But the next thing was, we found out that the item is cactus. Cactus and thistle are the quest items. So, in the starting Haran zone, there is a bunch of cactus that is wild. Going back every so often, checking that starting zone, got us a bunch of cactus. And people were being idiots and paying 2 to 4 gold for cactus. That's a ton of gold, so we were selling cactus. Roll on later on in the day, North America starts launching, and we're like, okay, let's go jump on North America servers, give ourselves a break. EU, we're running out of labor now, because you use labor to upgrade your gear, and so forth, and all the harvesting. We've done well at this point. In Europe, we've gotten about 400 gold or so, 300 to 400, because of lilies and a few cactus sale. Like, it's insane how much gold the lilies generated. Like, literally, we sold probably like 300 lilies at about 50 silver each. So 150 gold, and then some cactus sales, etc. So jump on North America. North America happens. Same thing. Now we know exactly what to do. And the best part about this, and this is news for all the people that are going to jump on the new servers, because there's going to be new servers coming for Steam. There's at least one new server for each region coming today at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so about 2 hours after this video goes live. But there might even be more servers in the future. Very well possible, because all the servers have queues right now. So when we jumped on North America, we noticed that they all had labor already. We jumped in, we got in fairly quick. We got in about 30 minutes on that opening queue. It wasn't too long. We had, good clicking ability, got in fairly easily. So every account had labor. They all had labor since the regeneration started from when we sent our patron token on the EU servers. I kind of figured that was going to be the thing because labor is account wide and patron is account wide. So when we logged in, we actually had 600, 700 labor points on all our accounts, and that's a huge amount of advantage. As I talked about beforehand, the part of the other reason the fresh start last one was just like shit was because there was tons of downtime and people started with 5,000 versus 0. That was kind of the same situation here. Anyone that played on EU and had labor regeneration started already had labor on North America. And if you started playing EU and didn't have your labor regeneration on, you lost out. If you didn't play on EU at all, you definitely lost out. But you could have circumvented that by actually claiming your item when EU came up, but most North Americans were sleeping at 3 a.m., right? So, yeah, pretty much most North American players didn't have labor, and it was a free-for-all. So even though we got in about 15, 20 minutes late, there was actually lilies in the starting zone now, free to pick because people didn't have labor. There was cactuses in the starting zone because people didn't have labor to pick up the cactus. So we were just grabbing tons and tons of free items out in the world because we have this excess labor pool that most people don't have. We then decided to go find more wild lilies because lilies are selling like crazy, like, 75 silver once again. And we're like, ooh, the money from the lilies is insane. So go over there, collect my wild lilies in the level 40, level 50 zones, sell those. And we actually make more money in the first 30 minutes of the American server than we have on EU in the last 7 hours. It's just nuts, man. It is insane. And that's all because of we literally got all the lilies in the world. Like, literally all the lilies on the east, I think. Like, I mean, there's some other spawns, but we got almost all the lilies in the east. We sold almost all the lilies in the east. We sold 300, 400 lilies at the first hour of the server when they were the highest price they were available, about a gold each, 75 silver each. So that was almost 400 gold right there on lilies. Plus, we got cactus as well. Cactus wasn't selling that much right that second, but we got cactus. We also, part of the reason we got got money was on the European servers. We found out about the sheep, and there's a bunch of wild sheep in the world, and we chopped down some sheep, and we got a couple wool because we picked up some combined feed from the vendor, and we got some wool, got some pelts, and pelts were really, really expensive. They were selling for like 75 silver each. Pelts, as of last night, when I went to bed around 1 a.m., pelts were still very, very expensive. Wool's starting to get up there as well, and people are actually starting to buy it. Because it doesn't matter if things are expensive, but if no one is buying it, then that's not really the price. No one wants it. It could be listed for 5 gold, but if no one is buying the item at 5 gold, it's not really worth 5 gold. It might be worth like 2 gold or 1 gold because no one's buying it. So you always have to be checking about what people are actually buying and wanting. Anyway, so made more money in the first 15, 30 minutes of America's server. It's nuts. Now I'm halfway thinking maybe I should main America because I've got more money on this account. End up crashing, some things happening. So like, okay, I'm going to log into one European server just to check. I had some timers set up that you saw early in the video. Archeage is a game about timers. You want to set up timers so you know when to harvest your crops, when you need to harvest the wild crops. There's tons and tons of wild crops. Wild crops are probably the most lucrative thing in the world now. And as we got to 30, so we leveled up, we got to 30, you do get 200 thistle in the blue salt line quest. you need that thistle to progress in the story in the Blue Salt quest line. But you don't absolutely need that thistle today to do it. What you can do is you can sell that thistle. Thistle started getting out of control later on in the day. Thistle started getting to about 2 gold per thistle on the North American servers. So, like any smart entrepreneurial person, we decided to stop doing that quest line and just sell the thistle. So we leveled up another character, got to 30, got more thistle, sold thistle, and long story short, we ended up having about 800 gold on the North American servers as we ended up quitting last night, going to bed, and on the EU servers it ended up with about 600 gold because we went to play North America for the most part, and we didn't really log on much to the EU servers. So all in all, we ended up with about 1,400 gold, give or take, across 6 characters across 12 characters, 6 on each region, and yeah. It was a really fun, really good time. We got 4 of them to level 30, and that's the short recap of what happened of my kind of like Archeage Day 2 diary. Thanks for watching, guys. I will do a little video later on about tips and guides, so you don't have to listen to the story time. You can just be like, buy this, grow this. So, thanks for watching.